I do believe this last section is probably the most important section. Is how do we really find peace in our lives? How do we create great health? And how do we have an attitude where we can actually be happy through most of our lives? And I'll talk about some ideas that I've learned over a period of time. A lot of it starts as family imprints. When I was 3 years old, my father left. My mother let go my father, I guess, and he was not even in the same community. And so my mother had to go back to school to get a degree so that she could, you know, support us. And we lived with my grandmother until I was about 11 years old. So growing up like that, at least some people had a mother, but basically my mother was in school. I had no mother or father, so how does that make you feel? And so we're imprinted with different things like, am I really deserving of the things that come into my life? And this idea of deserve level, I work with many people, and the ability to hold them back is they just don't feel they are worthy of that. But that can all be changed with some therapy or working with people that help you through that process. Or life always has to be a struggle, and that's just not true. We can always set up a game plan to make sure that it doesn't have to be a struggle. I grew up with the idea of being very poor, so poverty mindset, the idea there's only so much you can be out there or make out there or whatever. This is also just a concept, but we don't want to fall into the trap that this controls our life, or else we'll never have anything in our life. Or we really have to work hard for living. I believe in working hard. I enjoy that part, but you don't have to work hard for a living, and make sure that when you do that, you have a job you love and you're doing that. You can work hard at it or work hard, but it shouldn't beat you down. And then when things are going good, oh, it's always going to get bad. Things are going to go wrong. So this is just another imprint and coding from our past. And sometimes we have to let these go so that we can truly be at peace with who we are. We want to remember some of the things. We will be hurt by our anger, not for our anger. And so a lot of times we carry anger, so it protects us. If we are angry at our sister or ex-husband or whatever, we carry that anger. We think that protects us. In reality, all it does is destroy us. And actually, that other person is glad that we're angry because we're suffering, they're not. So the sooner that you give forgiveness and let go of the anger, it's just the best gift you can do for yourself. So if you carry anger for anyone, just let it go and forgive whoever, because you need it for your health and your happiness in your life. Happiness comes when you stop complaining. There's so many people that complain about their life. We're Americans. We have one of the greatest, uh, communities in the world, and there should be never a reason to really be upset about anything. Yes, things happen in our lives, but we can accept those, and we'll talk about that later. And then we have losses in our lives, and yes, things happen. And what I've found is that everything that comes into my life, including the losses, is exactly what I need to move myself forward. It's just a matter of changing my mind that I can accept these losses and letting go of the pain associated with those losses. We want to learn to eliminate the junk in our lives. And junk is everything that doesn't really add meaning to our lives. First type of junk is material junk, is the exercise machine you walk by and makes you feel guilty and you're never going to use it. Get rid of it, sell it, pass it on to a friend that might like it. Or all the clothes that you have in your closet that you haven't worn in 12 years thinking they're all going to fit again or whatever. It's just junk. It just sucks up our energy. So get rid of any material junk. Go through your house, and if it doesn't add meaning to your life, just let it go. Time junk is one thing a lot of women have trouble with because they have the inability to say no, and so they're always saying yes to helping people and other. If it does not add meaning to your life and you're just doing it because you think you need to, you're giving away your personal freedom. And so Always say before you say yes to something, just say, I'll have to think about it. I'll let you know. You don't have to spontaneously say yes to any of that. And when you let go of a lot of time junk, you have time to nurture yourselves, which is very important. Relationship junk, that is in any relationship that does not add meaning to your life or is toxic. And actually, sometimes it could be your parents that put you down every time you visit. You just have to tell them, this is unacceptable. I want to be either built up or, we can talk, but don't try to put me down or change me. If not, I'm not coming back. There are many great relationships you can be with out there that will support you in your path. And I would look for those, the ones that actually add meaning to your life. And then conceptual junk is an interesting concept. That is all the things, and many people do this, get upset about and worry about things that they did in the past that will never change. What they did way back when that they shouldn't have done. It's just junk. Just let it go. We have control of our mind. We can let things go. And also conceptual junk, everything we worry about in the future. We only can live in the moment. All the stuff in the future is just junk. Focus on your life today, living in the moment. You'll find much more happiness in your life. And the question is this junk adding meaning to my life? It's not, get rid of it. A lot of times I talk about my story as a child, and I grew up thinking as a 3-year-old that I was responsible for my parents' divorce, which I had no responsibility for, of course, when a 3-year-old doesn't know that. If I would have been a little better boy, maybe they would not have broken up. And I carried that pain for many years and tried to prove that it was not as bad as I thought it was. Once I realized where this was all coming from, I let go of those issues and I was completely at peace. And one company is called Legacy Life Consulting. Is a great place to go. They have many teachers there, and it's more consulting and to actually address issues that hold you back from being the person you really were meant to be. And a lot of times we need to shift from an intellectual level. I went intellectual because, not that I was smart, but there was no pain in the brain. And so, but what I lost out on is deep feeling, because when I went to a feeling level, there's just too much pain about the loss of my parents and things like that. Once I addressed those issues, I could start feeling again, which is very powerful. Men actually are in their brain more than we'd like to be, and so man can only kind of think at one thing at a time. And so now it's not true for all men, and may not be true for all women, but most women have great emotions, which is a great advantage for them. Deepen our relationship. I think a great book out is Love Languages. It's great to understand the different love languages, positive affirmation. As a boy growing up, not being wanted, I felt that, I tried to please people. So when people gave me positive affirmation, yes, you're great, you're doing great, I felt good. But if they were more critical or judgmental, it really affected me. But we can let go of those issues, and we should address those issues and determine what really in our love languages, the person we're with, or people, it could be our children, our coworkers, our spouse, or whatever, that we find out what is their love language. And so mine was more personal, positive affirmation. My wife's more quality time. And if she wants to talk, I turn the TV off, because a man can only focus at one thing at a time. I listen intently to everything she has to say, because I enjoy being with her, and we have good quality time. And any problem she has, I hardly ever give an answer. But I'm a very good listener. The quality time is important. Gifts, some people like gifts. My wife does not a big gift fan, which is great for me, but she likes acts of service. So if she asks me to do something, I immediately put down what I have doing and just take care of it. It's not a problem. I enjoy sharing the acts of service. And some people it's touch and whatever, but you want to evaluate each one of your significant others in your life to determine what love language actually seems to work for them. Boost your energy. Sometimes a lot of people set exciting goals for your life, for the things that you want to do, and put them down. It could be travel to Hawaii or Europe, or a certain type of vacation or whatever, and or how soon you'd like to be out of debt and or financially free. And then you can create a daily to-do list, which kind of helps you through the process of getting things done that you may put off. But this actually boosts your energy because you're taking care of things, and become more profitable while you're working. And the more you work and more profitable, actually you could work less days and make just the same amount of money. Do the things that enjoy and delegate the rest. Daily think positive thoughts and be grateful. I have one friend that puts it on the clock, and it rings, and then you basically focus on the things that you're grateful for. Because we are so grateful. I mean, just our health, our ability, our relationships, the weather, sun or rain, we can be grateful for everything. And become more loving and let go of all the anger we talked about, letting go of anger toward other people, forgiveness. Daily think positive thoughts about being grateful. We talked about that, becoming more loving and letting go of all your anger. Eat healthy. This is one thing about, Dr. Hyman. He talks about functional medicine. I think it's a great thing. A lot of times people are too many pills, and I like his website. Also, dietdoctor.com is a great place if you want to lose weight or you want to be healthier in your life. Exercise and walk outside in natural sunlight, get plenty of sleep, 8 hours a day, hang out with positive, upbeat people who are energetic and do things. So become financially free and debt free. This will actually boost your energy. DietDoctor.com was a website that one of my friends who I knew was, he was around 380 pounds. I hadn't seen him for a while. He came by, he was about 198 pounds. Looked great physical fitness. I said, what'd you do? I'm not much of an exercise person. He said, no, I went to this, and it's just a way of eating. You change it. Eat until you're fulfilled. You eat more. It's more of like a high-fat, low-carb diet. And because in the past we've eaten like this in 1984, when they said fat was bad for you, and more people bought carbohydrates and, high fructose corn syrup, and away we went. Matter of fact, and they said cholesterol was bad for you. Actually, cholesterol is good for you to a degree, especially when you get older, because that is brain food. And so now you can eat all the butter you want in 2014 because they realize fat is actually healthy for you. In 1985, there was very little obesity in the country. And over the past few years, it has grown from 0% to over 35%, depending on what state you're in. This is because of this low, basically low fat, and basically eating more fat is much better for you, but carbohydrates are the real killer out there. So the idea of looking at going to Diet Doctor, low carbohydrates, high fat diet is the way to look at. Great food here. And so I would look at that website, go to it, and you'll see a lot of great stories. A lot of good medical doctors talk about that. So when things go wrong, I would recommend you just don't get upset. Sometimes you say, oh, great. Because it just doesn't matter when things happen. Well, probably not for some things. Or next, I laugh if things go wrong. Nothing spectacular, but there are things that we need to be concerned about. We need to take action. So it is what is. Isn't that interesting? These things I think about when things are going wrong that really don't really matter. What great lesson will I learn from this experience? It's never a problem if it can be fixed with money, by the way. And a lot of people make big deals out of little things that cost little. So it reminds me of the $2 bill. I love the bill. I give this out. You can buy them. Actually, go to the bank. It costs $2 to get one. This is the only bill we have in our currency. We have the person in front, Thomas Jefferson, who was the uh, third president of the United States. You turn the bill over, and he's standing here next to Ben Franklin. And on the other side was John Adams. He was the second president of the United States. And so besides both being presidents, the only two presidents that signed the Declaration of Independence, they had something very close in common. And what that was, they died on the same day within 3 hours of each other. What's more interesting about that is the average person lived to age 45, Adams lived to 90, Jefferson lived to age 83. And so actually they died on the 4th of July, 1826, exactly 50 years from the date they signed the Declaration of Independence, within 3 hours of each other. And what's interesting about that is they lived 2 to 3 generations beyond the average person. And I think the reason they did that was to make sure that this new republic, where you were truly free, didn't have a king or queen over you that controlled your life or whatever. You were free to do whatever you want, go where you want, work where you want, be in relationships, leave relationships that don't work. They wanted to ensure that this republic lasted and has so far. And so basically, I look at the $2 bill, and then I want to think about this. So I always call this a happiness bill, because basically we are in one of the freest countries in the world. We're in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We have so much more abundance than most people. Yet what amazes me is most people aren't really happy in their lives, and because they have not figured out the secret of happiness. So I'll just quickly just tell you the secret. It really comes from 3 choices. You know, you can change a situation. So, for example, if you're in a relationship that someone's judgmental and critical of you, you just tell the person it's not acceptable. And I'm not going to be in a relationship where you are like this. And they will say, oh, I didn't know it bothered you, I won't do it again. And they don't, and you're back in. Because a lot of times when you're frustrated, anxious, or upset, you have 1 foot in a decision and 1 foot out. So basically, you can change the situation, and if it works, you put 2 feet in. In certain situations where the person says, no, that's just who I am, you're going to have to live with it. No, I don't. I can leave a situation and take 2 feet out. As soon as I do that, I'm totally at peace. Now, the third choice that you have, which happens most of the time, you're not going to leave a situation. You cannot change a situation. And that's okay if it's minor little issues or whatever, because you might get upset, but you're not going to leave it or change it. But the only person that actually makes you upset is you. So why would you be upset about anything? So you just accept the unacceptable. Why would I be upset about anything when I can, I'm not going to change it or leave it, because I have choices. Okay. Once you realize that, you can be totally at peace with everything in your life. I'm going to say that again. Once you know that you're the one that's upset you, you can change that and be totally at peace with everything in your life. And that's what's called happiness. So when you feel angry, frustrated, anxious, controlled, or sad, you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of decision. I recommend you look at a $2 bill or whatever you have in your wallet and know that you have those 3 choices. Once you've made the intent to change and made the change, you will immediately feel at peace and happiness. And Albert Einstein said the most important decision you will ever going to make in your life is the decision about the kind of universe you want to live in. Personally, I want to be in a universe filled with freedom, love, safety, caring, and abundance. But you can pick, because it's your choice. We're free. That's why we're Americans. But you can be in a situation even where you feel trapped, anxious, controlled, or filled with scarcity. That's a choice. In America, you can always be in the top universe where you feel love and safety and cared for. And that's you making the choice. I want to remind you that you were the 1 sperm cell out of 500 million that made it to the egg. you have already won in life. Okay, you've already won in life. So now it's just a matter of enjoying that life and changing your mind. If a lot of things come in our life, and we can change our mind. We have no really control of thoughts that enter our brain, for example. But we once they're there, we can say, no, I'm not accepting these thoughts, and you can turn them off because then you learn to practice to turn off thoughts that are negative or sending you down the rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland, and just turn them off. And your life is going to be a lot happier. So you've already won in life. It's just a matter of changing your mind, and you can do that. I love the movie Jerry Maguire was a few years ago, but Dickie Fox was his mentor in the movie. And he closes the movie with this statement, and I'd like to share this. He says, I don't have all the answers. Definitely I don't. I've failed as much as I've succeeded, but I love my wife. I've been married over 53 years. I love my life, and I wish you my kind of success. Good luck. Enjoy this. Go through the readings. Read the books we talked about. It'll be very helpful. And I wish you your best on your path to financial freedom and success.
It's just, there's all this pressure, And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
See, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See,
out.
you're not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just... Sometimes it's like there's this achy... I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. All of them.
Yeah, that sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. Ow. If you would just...
Don't...
Try to see things my way. Do I have